This Shabbat is actually a very special Shabbat. You have a trifecta of holiness, right? You have the Parsha, the Torah portion of the week, which is the Torah portion of Mikeitz, where Joseph interprets the dreams of Pharaoh, and he's appointed to be second in command, and he meets his brothers. He doesn't reveal yet to them, but the family is at least the beginnings of the reunification of the family. And then you have it's Shabbat Chanukah. It's Chanukah, which is obviously very, very special, and it's also Rosh Chodesh. It starts the new month of Tevet, so it's a new month, new beginnings, and it's just a very special time when you have these three things together. Right, in Judaism, it's called a chazaka. So you have a chazaka, a strengthening of holiness, of kedusha, and so it's very, very special Shabbat. And there's actually more than one Haftorah. You have the Haftorah of Chanukah, and you have the Haftorah of the Parsha. And about the Haftorah of the Parsha, because the Torah portion deals with the dreams of Pharaoh, so too you have King Solomon being granted wisdom through dreams. Right? In his dreams, God grants him wisdom. And so there's this connection with dreams. Now in Psalm 126, it says that when God returns to Zion, right, when in Messianic times, when Mashiach comes, that we'll be like dreamers. So this is very strange. Hayinu kecholmin, will be dreamers. What do you mean we'll be dreamers? You think, isn't reality better? Dreaming is like, when Mashiach comes in the Messianic era, it's just going to be like a dream. A dream is something fleeting. A dream is something intangible. It's not real. Why would we be compared to dreaming? But it doesn't say it will be a dream. It says we will be dreamers. We'll be like dreamers. What happens when you dream? Right? You have all these images. When you're in the moment of the dream, it seems so real. But then you wake up and you can barely even remember what it was, right? The reality of real life just hits you, and the dream itself, then you realize how vain it was and how nothing. In fact, you can barely even remember it usually. So the same thing is going to be when Mashiach comes in the Messianic era, that we will be like dreamers, not then. We'll be like dreamers as in not that will be the dream, but that now is the dream. And when we wake up, so to speak, when Mashiach comes, we'll be like we were dreaming. The whole history of everything that we've been through and all of the trials and tribulations and the difficulties and everything that's been so painful and difficult because of the exile will be like a dream. In fact, we'll barely remember it because the reality of godliness and spirituality will be so in our face. It'll be so real to us because that's going to be our existence, that everything beforehand was like a dream. So even though we live in very difficult times, and the truth is, I don't know if there's ever been not difficult times, right? Every generation has its most difficult issues, and every day brings its own trials and tribulations that we have to deal with. And we should know that even though we have to deal with it, and it is serious, and we have to work through everything, that nevertheless we should at least know that when Mashiach comes, all of this is going to be like a dream, and the reality of godliness and spirituality is going to be our new reality. So Shabbat Shalom, a happy Chanukah, and a happy Rosh Chodesh, and Chodesh Tov, and it should be the coming of Mashiach now, where all the pain and difficulties of this exile should be completely behind us like a bad dream, and we should be living in the reality of godliness and spirituality right now. Shabbat Shalom and happy Chanukah.